So here we are in the finished theater room, and I want to show you a couple things and how they turned out here. First, I want to show you this massive screen. So this is called a CinemaScope screen, and the reason they call that is it's wider than your normal 16:9 format. This is the same format you would see in an Harkins or an IMAX theater. And what that means is we've got a little bit more width, so whenever you're watching a movie, you don't have those black bars on the top and the bottom. And it makes it really nice because we've got a 140-inch image. And so when you're sitting in the front or the back row, it's the relationship to where you're sitting in the screen is very, very similar to the same ratio if you were in a Harkins theater. One of the cool things we did here is we actually have the speakers built in behind the screen. So it's a really clean look. You don't see speakers besides a subwoofer. And when you're watching it, the sound is actually coming right from the middle of the screen. So that's kind of a neat thing. As far as the sound in this room, we did what's called a Dolby Atmos. And we did that with a preamp called Anthem. And the Anthem preamp uses a thing called ARC. What that is audio room correction. So in this room, there's a microphone that we run in 7 different locations so that we calibrate this room perfectly. So when you sit down in any chair in this theater room, you're going to have better sound than you would ever have when you go to a movie theater. So I want to talk a little bit about the design of this room. When we first met with Alex, the homeowner, this room was actually 4 feet wider, and it was a big, big guest bedroom with a little bathroom in the corner. So what Alex wanted to do was have a home theater, and he wanted something that was the right ratio, the right size for both sound and video. So we went and we actually drew this room up on CAD, and we designed the exact right size, and we actually created a storage room on the other side of this wall where we put all the AV gear. But the other thing we did at Audio Concepts is if you look at this is acoustic treatment. So both walls on the sides, the left and the right, are covered with a fabric and a sound dampening material that keeps all the reflections and all the echo from happening in the room. So one thing you're going to notice here is there's a panel that's actually floating off the wall. So this serves a couple purposes. First, it's an acoustic panel, so it dampens the echoes that you would have from the speakers reflecting off side walls. And that makes the sound a lot more acoustical and just a lot more pleasant on the ears. The other thing we did is we actually incorporated the lighting for this room behind this panel so that you can actually turn on lights that don't negatively affect the projector and have a little bit of light in this room and still have a very good image on a projection system. All right, so now I want to show you the kind of the heart of the audio video system. Behind this panel, what we did is we created an audio video room so that we could, instead of having cable boxes and surround receivers and speaker bars and all of those things visible at every one of the TV setups, we took all of that gear and we hid it inside of this closet. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's a little bit of a tight fit. So this is the audio video system that drives the entire home. So this is a very large home, 10,000 square feet. We've got 20 video zones and about 40 audio zones throughout this house, not to mention everything that's electronic is automated as part of the system. So we've got a pretty big system here, and I want to show you a little bit about what that is and what we have that drives everything. Up at the top, this is a system called Control 4, and this is the main brain that drives the entire home. It does the audio distribution, it does streaming Spotify and Pandora and all of those good things. It does the lighting control, it does the thermostats, it does the security. So all of these different subsystems talk to this one brain, and it gives the homeowner an app or a touch panel or a remote or a voice like Alexa to automate the entire home from one really easy user interface. Below that, this is the network system. So this is a router, and there's just some switches behind that. The Wi-Fi throughout the house is usually the most important part of the technology for a homeowner. A lot of people think if the Wi-Fi goes down, it's sometimes more important than if your plumbing was to go down or your water was to go down. People really rely on Wi-Fi. Right here is a media shelf, and these are all the little black boxes that distribute video throughout the house. So we've got a couple Apple TVs, a couple Rokus, we've got an Alexa sitting here, we've got a couple cable boxes sitting here. So what that does is it lets all these different sources sit here and then be able to play to all of the 20 different TVs throughout the home. This is the media distribution. So this is what actually sends that signal through HDMI and 4K throughout the house. And then over here, we've got all the audio distribution. So we've got 40 different audio zones that distribute everywhere from the master bedroom, the bathrooms, the laundry rooms, the dining room, the kitchen, even out at the pool. We've got 3 different audio zones just around the pool so that he can meter the different levels between the different areas there. And then down here, these are amplifiers for surround sound in the theater, surround sound in the game room, and then these are amplifiers for built-in subwoofers so that he doesn't have big black boxes sitting on the floor in different rooms. They're built into the wall, and this is what drives that.